Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Every divisional series is underway. We have a 2-0 lead, a 1-1 tie, 1-0 and 1-0. Let's talk about all of them. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, brought to you by DraftKings. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. You got Jake in the Bronx and Chris Rose joining us from LA today, subbing in for the Ploofster. As always, producer BBD behind the dish. Trev out of commission. Just, I don't know, sleeping. What was his excuse?
No. So he lives in a really ritzy, gated community neighborhood. Very, very posh and upper crust. And they do these events, and apparently this is the biggest one they've got of the year, even though it's like 2 weeks until Halloween, or 3 weeks, whatever it is. They've got like a carnival through their streets where they're bringing in all these highfalutin celebratory things for the kids. It's all weekend long. So that's what he's doing.
He took us to one of those last Christmas. It was the coldest night of the year for us. A November night in Calabasas, or maybe it was December. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out where I am in this thing, BBD.
Are you okay? Oh, my God. You're moving.
I was trying to center myself, but I couldn't figure it out. Jake, how are you doing?
Oh. Jimmy, if you pick a spot, I can center you.
He's got you. Rosie, right. John, BBD, stepping up. Everyone live in the chat, thanks for joining us on your Saturday, baseball Saturday. We got the NL boys going game 2 tonight. Yesterday was a fun one. I know me and Jim had a lot going on outside of the baseball world, but also in the baseball world. It was an awesome day, man. A lot of you love seeing the young guys that are next, or maybe we didn't talk about enough during the year. And like when we talk about Logan Webb in a little bit, I'm really excited for that. But big day of baseball, and yeah, similar to Trev, and his gaudy neighborhood party. I was watching some rats share a pizza slice today. So we're basically having the same Saturday.
Pizza Rat?
So I listened to Zardulu in the Pizza Rat podcast. I don't think these were the Pizza Rat. I think these were just a couple rats sharing a slice of pizza. I didn't exchange formalities with them, so I could be wrong, but
next time do.
I think Ploof didn't like me talking trash about his neighborhood, and he cut the cord on me.
That adds up.
Typical.
I think he doesn't like when we say he lives in Calabasas because he lives in some other. It's like another cooler.
I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want to. I don't want to give it away because I don't want people stalking outside of his house. Not that you would ever be able to get past the security guard.
Yeah.
If you ever try and get inside of his area, you will be shot.
There's a lot better people to stalk in his neighborhood than him, too.
That is accurate.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we got 4 games. The NL, the pitchers showed up. The AL, the hitters showed up yesterday. We're a cron pod here, Rosie, so we will go in chronological order. We have to keep it very simple.
We have rules
for ourselves. As rules are rules. So, Jake has burns. Jake, did people remind you? Were you able to remember yourself, or do you need to shout anyone out that helped you with remembering?
So I was able to remind. I know who should get a shout out because I said tweet at me at 10 a.m. this morning, and I think a few people did. I was moving around, and I didn't charge my phone last night, so I was like 5% in it, like just a total idiot on the way in. Someone tweeted at me last night like at 8 p.m. Don't forget, and I was like, wow, that was a real flex, man. Like that was I told you remind me at 10 a.m. in the morning. You hit me with the 8 p.m. at night. All right. That was my kind of reminder. I owe this to the people.
All right. It's like when people text you happy birthday at midnight and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You were really thinking about me, huh?
But it's great when you live on the West Coast because it's only 9 p.m.
Jake's birthday's coming up 2 days, so everyone can text him.
Wait, Jake? Did you just say Jake's birthday?
Yes.
Jake's birthday.
What are you going to be, 32?
3-2.
Only an age, though.
Still in my prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? That shit wears off in a hurry, boys.
That's where Bond started to peak.
Yeah. And oddly enough, his head started to grow, and he looked like one of those floats in the Thanksgiving Macy's Day Parade.
I need that, too.
Here
Crazy
comes
what a
Barry
balanced
Bonds.
breakfast can do.
You know?
Yeah.
He made an appearance last night.
Sure did.
They were cheering for him, I
They
heard.
Certainly were. Yeah.
All right, first game of the day was the Houston Astros taking on Rose rotation co-host Lucas Giolito and the White Sox. Jake, are you going to burn this for us? Who's it brought to us by? Blitzball?
Yeah, this will be brought to us by Blitzball. They've been supporting us. They've been supporting our back alley at bats pretty much. We've been having a blast with that. And all of our live streams. If you've liked watching two out-of-shape, almost 32-year-olds play, you would like some of the people that they have playing on their YouTube channel. The Blitzballs are nasty. We recorded something with Trev. We won't give it away, but he started throwing a slider that is something me and Jimmy can't do with our arm ability. So yeah, they've got some of that on their YouTube channel. And if you're someone who listens and you play wiffle ball, you're gonna want to try out Blitzball. It's pretty good. You can let it rip. Chris Rose almost took JOMBOY yard. People forget that.
Would have
Pitch
been
to
a
my
walk-off.
defense.
Would have been a walk-off, and would have been the crowning athletic achievement of my life. Seriously, that's the truth.
Well, you know who we play against next week? Wednesday's episodes that get released.
Yeah.
It's Todd Frazier.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's gonna be so good.
There was the level of trash talk got brought up a notch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Problem is,
Yeah.
you can't understand
was-
him when he starts talking too fast. You're like, you get about every fourth word.
Oh, Jim, we're gonna have to clip that.
That's my mom, so.
I forget when it was, but there was one moment where they were like synchronized.
That's
That's
this week's episode. I
so
just asked
funny.
Tom if
Oh
it's
my
part in there.
God.
They basically both bull rushed me about a ruling on a ball hitting the ground.
They went like Italian Jersey mobsters at the same time.
Hey, you better be careful because Frazier knows people.
It's
I'm
connected.
just saying.
Connected.
Just saying.
Yeah, just bought a house from like the Russian mob or something.
Oh boy, let's do it.
Yep.
Hit the music, Beebs.
Jake,
What happened? Game 2, ALDS.
on your mark, get set, burn.
Game 2, and there is a Framber alert out for the White Sox offense as Valdez and the Stros try to go up 2-0, but that'd be a tough ask against Chris Rose's podcast son, Lucas Giolito. He's lovely. So much back and forth early. They're calling this the pendulum game. Bah. Luis Robert, boy, is his name hot on the internet streets right now. RBI ground out. Kyle Chris Tucker rush hours into an RBI single, and Chaz McCormick sees himself a sac fly. It's 2-1 Stros in the fifth. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Robert. Luis does it again with the RBI single. Jose Abreu says, I'll have what he's having. He has one of his own. And then Cosmo Kramer, the yes man, as Grandal's sac fly. Great fortitude by the White Sox to make it 4-2. Unfortunately for the Sox, the Astros would score the next touchdown. 7 runs. Yuli, Jordan, Correa, and a Tucker bomb to ice it. Framber and Giolito were the headliners, but the Astros pen 4.1 shutout to win Game 2, 9-4 final.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well done.
Really well done.
Snaps.
Really good.
Thank you.
Altuve put on an absolute defensive display in this game. I mean, first inning, Framber was it bases loaded, single hit by pitch, and then Altuve diving stop to stop that ball. Another one would have scored. He had like a jump throw later in the game. So offensive came out to show. Altuve kind of stole it early defensively, but feel bad for Giolito and Framber. I wanted both of those guys to perform.
Yeah, you can't walk 5 hitters against that team. You know, they have the best discipline, plate discipline of any team around. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play. If you listen to the Rose Rotation ALDS preview, Austin Hedges, the Cleveland Guardians catcher, just talked about how difficult it is to work around their entire lineup, right? Carlos Correa is going to be hitting 3rd or 4th next year for some team. He's hitting 6th right now in front of Tucker, who had an over 900 OPS. With all of that being said, the Astros do the little things the best out of all 8 teams remaining. They play defense better. The biggest difference in that game was the fact that Tucker caught the ball and Lurie Garcia did not. Okay? He butchered the ball much like I just butchered his name. And then they run the bases great. Altuve with the slide in game 1. All the little things, man. And people they've been dismissive of the Astros this year because they don't want to talk about them because they'll have to deal with their feelings again about 2017. That's what I think.
It's, for me, I mean, hey, Giolito and Framber, that's as fun as a playoff matchup as you're going to get. Framber, his sinker ball stats were going around the internet, or put actual ground ball stats. He had the most ground ball of a starting pitcher this year since they started tracking it in like 2002. Like Derek Lowe, a lot of the classic sinker ball pitchers, he was a notch above them. Him and Giolito both get knocked around. You're right. I mean, that Lurie Garcia play looms so large. If he snags that changes the whole course of the rest of the game. For me, coming back to the box score on this, how excited was everyone for the White Sox pen? Hendricks, Kimbrel, Bummer, Tepera, Crochet. You know, that seemed like their formula. If you told us before this game it was going to be tied up, the White Sox were going to roll that out, and Houston was going to roll out Yimi Garcia, Stanek, Matone? I always forget. Maton, Presley, and Graveman, you'd give the advantage to the White Sox. Houston holds. They don't give up any runs. And, yeah, I know Jimmy was digging up. We were laughing when we were previewing this series because TLR, Tony La Russa, had a quote about his defense. Did we get the exact word, Jimmy?
I didn't find it, but I think his quote was just like, our defense is horrible.
It's like atrocious or something like that. And, yeah, I mean, Rosie, you mentioned you kind of covered the board there. It's the little things because you kind of look around the board, but it's also the big things. Like you said, Correa and Tucker could be hitting 2-3 on this team and nobody would flinch. They're stacked, and they do it every year. They end up in the CS every year. So, Man, Chicago got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a little too much of the old school managing in La Russa to go to Bummer in that spot, and Kimball got beat too. So it looks like he was doomed either way, maybe. But
they could.
I don't know.
One guy
You're
they
down
didn't go
1-0.
to, Jimmy, was Kopech.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they went to Crochet again. Kimbrel just got down in those counts to those guys, and it was close. Well, I think he was down in every count, and then the Tucker one he hung. The Correa one's an out. I mean, I watched it, and I saw a bunch of tweets celebrating how Correa's a heel, and he always comes through and kills teams, and it's true, and he is really, really, really good, and he does kill teams, but, I mean, Lurie Garcia, what are you doing, dude? That looked like me and Jake trying to catch fly balls when Trev was hitting those line drives. He just got spun.
Do you guys think I'm onto something with the fact that I think we spent so little time the last month of the year talking about the Houston Astros, right? We were focused on the NL West divisional race. We were focused on the AL wild card. We were focused on the Padres collapse. What's going on with the Mets? That part of the reason we didn't want to look at the Astros is because we don't know what to do with them emotionally. Is that fair?
I think it's yes, I think that's majority of it. Like, they don't market, MLB doesn't market them because it's just like, they're in like kind of shadow realm a little bit. We try to talk about the guys that we like a lot. Like, we'll hype up Framber. I like Luis Garcia. Obviously Trev likes Jake Odorizzi, but it's also at some point, like, I think that if the Astros and the Dodgers are in the World Series, there's a lot of almost how the NBA went through LeBron fatigue, where it's just like, really? Are those two teams again? Like,
See, I think
Trev was
that could be
hyping it
the
up,
best
but
thing. I think it could be the best thing
so
for baseball in
I'm
years.
curious. I'm curious on that. I don't know. I think there's a fraction that'll be, say, like no one cares anymore. Like, let's move on from the cheating from 5 years ago. But then there's also people that still love it. I don't know. White Sox are done though. That sucks.
Clicks. Yeah, I don't know. Rosie, I kept saying on Talking Baseball that, like, I thought the Stros were going to kick into gear before the playoffs, and that was going to be part of the conversation. Like, they're back, blah, blah, blah. They had a couple losses, and the Rays had a couple wins that it was like, okay, so the Rays are going to be the number 1 seed. Houston kind of didn't have to play for anything more. And everyone was lost in the wild card. So in this White Sox-Houston matchup, and it's kind of a bizarre thing. Before the season, this was the matchup we all wanted because Tony La Russa and Dusty, like, these are two of the most high-end, powerful teams in the American League. These two teams have been lined up for so long that I think it was almost like we casually talked about it, that if this had fallen into our lap on the last day, like, say if the Rays and Astros flip-flopped from the 1 seed and 2 seed in the last day and we're like, whoa, we're getting White Sox and Astros, I think people would have been a little more excited for it, but I don't know. And then kind of what you're saying, too, about Astros and everyone being all over the board on it. Me, Jimmy, and Trev, who like to pretend we know what we're talking about, we all kind of sat here pretty confidently and we're like, don't bet against Houston. And now they've got 3 to lock it up, and they'll be in the CS. They'll most likely be in the CS again.
Now, we know it's easy when you're down 2-0 to say, okay, well, this is going to finish. We do have to keep in mind that the White Sox had the best home record in the American League, and I think that the Dodgers were the only team that surpassed them in all of baseball for home wins. I believe that was right. I know it was right heading into the last 10 days of the season. With all that
they get to play a lot of home games against those shitty teams.
Hey, you can laugh and joke, but that's the point I was about to make.
Yeah.
They were the champion of the worst division in baseball, far and away. They did not have one other team in there that finished above 500. And while Houston never got pushed by a fading Oakland team and an upstart Seattle team, which was strictly fighting for the wild card, you always felt like they were playing for something. What was the White Sox last meaningful game before this week?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams game.
Field of Dreams. Why? Because it was a made-for-TV event.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter. I think they ended up losing the series to you guys anyway. So if they gotten swept, it wouldn't have impacted them one bit. So they were just, I think it's hard to go 4 months without playing a game that doesn't mean shit. And then all of a sudden have to ramp it up to 180. That's tough, man, against a damn good baseball team.
Yeah.
AL Central's now 1-9 in their last 10 playoff games.
Some of those numbers are gross. Isn't there like a 3-18 or a 3-21 or something?
Trev was scoffing at it because he's twins. You're kind of because you're Indians, but it's true. Like,
I know it is.
Come on. It's people like to I overplay it probably because I'm trying to counter the people that downplay it, but strength of schedule is real. And if you just beat up a shitty division nonstop, you haven't been tested as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say. I think the toughest thing in sports to do is self-evaluate, and so you have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and so you can put up all the gaudy numbers like the White Sox have where they led the AL in ERA, but who are you doing it against? You know, you're doing it against a team that got no hit 3 times in a year, a Detroit team that was okay offensively, a Kansas City team that underperformed offensively. You know?
I think
Minnesota that sucked.
Last year, especially because it was the weird year. So the Central stayed in the Central, the East stayed in the East, the West stayed in the West. You know, when all those advanced like pitching metrics came out that are all pretty well regarded, and it was like, if you pitched in the Central last year, there was a chance you didn't face a lot of the tough teams. I know I don't have the stats in front of me now, but I know there. For Bauer and some of the other guys that had massive years last year is like, well, they didn't face a lot of the big sticks. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you are right, Rosie. Like, The Chicago atmosphere tomorrow should be electric. Like, they at home, they're not going to go down like tail between their legs. They're too good of a team to do that. But just the task of winning 3 straight against this Houston team, I don't know. No.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Framber's the
tough.
only pitcher to give up multiple runs.
Yeah.
Yep.
In 2 games. I mean, I think Graveman gave up a run.
Yeah, he looked a little shaky at times. I will say this, and I know we have to move on. If you're not a Houston fan or a Chicago fan, root for Chicago tomorrow. Root for more baseball. That's what you want.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want 4 games on Monday, so root for the White Sox. Let their fans have a day. I don't think they're going to end up winning the series. I actually have Houston in the World Series, and there you go. Thank you. Amen.
All right, well, if we think they're advancing, let's see who they're advancing against, Jake. How did game 2
Cron Pod.
or versus?
Cron
Pod.
Oh.
Sorry, dude. We have rules. We
Forgot.
have one rule we abide by.
We have very strict
So,
rules. These
It's
burp.
the strictest rule we have.
Braves,
Tell us about
Brewers.
the Brewers and Braves.
Does he get penalized for that? Does he get put in a box? Does he get frozen?
It's a
Does he get
yellow.
one of those wacky
Spoon eye.
images?
Spoon
It's a
eye.
Bino
Just
yellow
gotta go
card.
spoon eye for
Spoon
life.
eye. Hit it, Beebs.
Jake, on your mark, get set, burn.
Battle of the Braves, Milwaukee versus the ATL and the Salt Man, Charlie Martin, slinging sliders. But if that salt gets in the wound, it burns as Corbin and his cutter. They would both be on their game. More zeros on the scoreboard than a cash wire exchange in a movie. What? Until it's getting rowdy in Milwaukee, baby. Friend of the pod, Rowdy Tellez, in that elephant swing. 2-run homer. Would that be enough? Young Jock goes boing. Peterson pinch hit, home run, solo dong, cuts the lead in half. Top 9, Hader in, 2 on, 2 outs. Old friend Orlando Arcia grounds out to second. The Brewers go Burns to Senor Puke to Hader. Brew Crew wins 2-1 in game 1.
Hauser will never be able to live that down. Ever. Guy could end up in Cooperstown. He's still just going to be called Senor Puke on every recap you ever have.
Well, maybe. Tough times. Well, not on our little pat on our back, Jake. The 2 Brewers that we hung out with the most in Milwaukee were Burnsy and Rowdy, heroes of game 1. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to give you your hamstring a deep tissue massage between those 2?
It's Rowdy.
Burnsy.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Neither wants to. They get rock, paper, scissors, and Rowdy beats him.
Rowdy would have fun with it, I think. That's just an opinion, not a take.
Did you see Rowdy's play in the first inning?
Yes.
I mean, obviously he gets the big home run, but it was Burnsy, he had to settle in. He walked the first 2 batters. He had a pass ball. It wasn't his fault, it was catcher's fault. I think we had 4 wild pitches and 2 pass balls yesterday. So maybe the whole catchers on the one knee, pitch framing matters more. It should go away. Because it seems like that's a lot. But that double play in the first inning by Rowdy is like a tone setter. I mean, imagine you got Burnsy, he settles in and then he blanks him the rest of the way and looks amazing. Imagine the Braves were able to push 1 across in the first. It's a different game in a 2-1 ball game, obviously. So I hope that doesn't go too overlooked, that double play by Rowdy in the first inning.
But let's give a little bit of credit to Omar Narvaez on that.
Yeah.
That is not an easy hop to take.
With the bat.
Yeah, with the bat and with the dude who's 250 barreling down on you. That's a hell of a play.
Yeah.
What percentage of catchers make that play? Small. I'll answer it.
Small percentage.
Small. Excuse me. Yeah, Jim, I forgot to tell you the other day, Schilt in his post-game press conference in the Cardinals loss, He talked about it. We say it on live streams and stuff like that, or even when we do Yankees. That pitcher, if they survive the first and they're struggling, sometimes they're playing with such house money that you can almost chalk them down for 6 or 7 clean. And that's where Corbin ended up. He was so in control the rest of the way. It was absolutely gross. Rowdy, awesome home run, pimps it, and how, put that in the book of how to pimp home runs. He clearly wasn't showing up the pitcher. He was just enjoying that bad boy for his team, as well he should. He just hit a mammo shot in, what could be an extremely important part of this Brewers run. And I think the other thing that we circle as, we talked about the Brewers' high-end talent a lot this year. We kind of wondered if they were going to make big splashes around the deadline. They brought in Eduardo Escobar, who's such a Brewers guy, can play a bunch of positions and switch all that. We kind of eyed that first base position. Everyone gave them love for the Willy Adames move, obviously, because he went nut job when he came over. Rowdy Tellez, a guy I liked before the season. He ended up in a weird time in Toronto, gets traded, and he was hitting for them. We wondered if they were going to make a move at first. He gets the start in the playoff game. He hits. And for the Brewers, the question is, will they hit? And you wonder if they've got a little bit of Brewers magic. Is it going to be one guy each game? Is there going to be a Colton Wong game? Is there going to be an Adames game? Rowdy kind of checked his box, and that's Brewers baseball.
It is. It's a difficult way to live, though, in the playoffs.
Yeah, sure is.
2-1 wins are not easy, man. That grinds on you. I think the biggest thing, we joked about the puke guy. I said it the minute that Devin Williams punched a wall for whatever reason, and I cannot wait for the 30 for 30 on that one. What if I told you that just days before the playoffs started, that Devin Williams would punch a wall after celebrating a National League Central title? What if I told you we have the real story? There's a better story there. We're not going to find. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be great. So everybody's like, oh, what are they going to do? I said, move Hauser to that role. I know he gave up the pinch hit homer to Jock, but I love it. I love it. I love the two managers I love in the playoffs are Craig Counsell and Alex Cora, because they don't give a fuck about what conventional baseball is. They will do anything to win a game. Let's get outside of our little comfort zone. Let's move guys all around. I thought it was a great, great move, man.
Yeah, I was going to give you credit for that, Rosie, because I was on that same little YouTube session we did. I was wondering how they're going to replace Devin, and I thought that it would be, Ashby or maybe a starter that goes back there, maybe the game 3 starter if they need a lot of innings. They didn't need a lot; they need 2. And then you called in. I think we called you next, and you were like Hauser, and I was like, oh, I like that. Not your traditional bullpen guy, but that sinker was nasty. Even the Jock, because he just doesn't throw it doesn't have crazy wipeout slider and crazy high fastball. But the Jock home run was all credit to Jock and no blame on Hauser. It was a nice pitch and a nice swing.
By the way, what do we think of him stopping midway between third and home? Literally coming to full stop, slamming on the brakes. Can't believe the car in front of me just went from 55 to 0.
I've still got that in these legs. Just slam on them. No, everything would break. Yeah, I like that. I like the other thing. This was my only, because, a lot of people listen to this stuff, so I don't try to always be as ridiculous as possible. I try to find something that stands out. The one thing between these two teams that stood out to me was depth. And, Jock Peterson, he's kind of the Braves' depth piece right now. They've got one extra outfielder you're going to like. He hits the pinch hit home run. In the 9th inning, they pinch hit Arcia, which, hey, he's got some playoff moments. His career hitting numbers are not there. Where, meanwhile, if you look at the guys on that Brewers bench, Vogie came in, had the pinch walk. Luis Urias had a really nice year. He's on their bench right now. JBJ pinch ran. Tyrone Taylor had a pinch hit and is a fun young ball player. Where the Braves, in 9th inning, you got 2 on versus Hader. You already did the hard part almost. Now you're just looking for a bloop. They have to go to Orlando Arcia, who that's just not the stick you want up in that situation. And I know Bravesland wasn't happy about. When I say Bravesland, I also mean Ashland was not happy about that.
Oh my God. She hit the over on our curse just, I think, in the pinch hitting role.
Yes.
But where would you have gone? Where would you have gone against a left-handed hater?
I mean, that's the problem. They don't have a good answer. I think, and they, it's not a shot fired at the Braves. It's just who they've got at this point. They traded for 4 new outfielders, and they've got them, but the rest of that bench just is, you would have liked somebody else. I'm not saying they have it.
I mean, I think the pinch hit was for Eddie Rosario, right?
Right.
Because of the lefty on lefty thing. I don't know, man. I've heard from guys for years that Eddie Rosario is one of the great bad ball hitters. And sometimes Hader, with the angle he comes at, it ends up being a bad ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you stick with him. He's already he's already got the lather worked up in the game and all that.
A lot of big league hits out of Eddie Rosario.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Soler and Jock had the best at bats, so trade pieces again. Soler had a nice walk. He was spitting on a lot of pitches, and then he sent one deep to the track. I don't know I didn't see the projected or how many ballparks it would have been out of, but it was. I thought from the camera angle it might have been gone for a second, and then got caught. So maybe that moves him on.
Yeah.
Who's starting today for the 2?
So
Fried versus Woodruff.
And yesterday on Baseball Today, I was screaming out loud. I was like, why isn't Max Fried starting game 1? He's been the best starting pitcher in baseball since the beginning of August. In his last 11 starts, he hasn't lost, and his ERA is under 1.5. And then I watched Charlie Morton just mowing down guys left and right, and he obviously made the boo-boo in the 7th inning there, but he pitched great. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Max Fried gets an extra base hit today, by the way.
Like that.
You think they overextended him? I mean, Morton was pitching so well. To take him out there, I think you have to ride him. It just happened so quick with the hit by pitch and then home run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
hit by
I don't know if Braves country is yelling about that. What's that?
Hit by pitch with 2 strikes. So
yeah, and the pitch before was right there, and Garcia kind of moved back, and then he came up and in again, and Garcia just let it hit him. It's like, all right, well,
my goatee idol Pedro Martinez was talking about it after, and he said, Morton's pitch count wasn't super high at that point. He did show a couple sequences that I don't know. I know sometimes we can be tough on the guy analysts in the studio, but he showed, I think, the batter before the hit by pitch or there was a walk previous to that where Morton was just left 4 balls like right outside, almost in the same spot. So I don't know if that's fatigue. I don't know if that's losing the slot. I don't know if it's a combination of the two. So I don't know. That's basically coming from Pedro's goatee and not me. His takes deserve a little more respect.
Well, speaking of Pedro, he had a lot of love. Any final words on Brewers? Did you have? Nope, that's a minute. Pedro had a lot of love for Tanner Houck. So, Jake, can you tell us what happened in the Red Sox-Rays game 2? It was a wild one.
Sure can.
Jake, on your mark, get set, burn.
The Red Sox are off to see the Wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, as Shane the Kid takes the bump against the Condor. Chris Sale on the bump for the Red Sox. Hey, remember these 2 names, Bogarts and Verdugo. RBI singles. They make it 2-0. Top 1. But Yandy Diaz, the Yandy man, he gets one of his own. And then Luke Lowe goes high. Grand salami. It's 5-2 Rays after 1. Condor, Chris Sale is out after 1 inning pitch. Alex Cora, some balls there as the Red Sox would start hawking loogies with Tanner as he comes in and he's mowing Rays down left and right. Remember those names I said? Bogarts and Verdugo. They both hit home runs. Kike, do you love me? He hits one of his own. We are tied up at 5. And then that ankle JD Martinez is back. The bad man hits a 3-run homer to make it 8-5. The very next inning, G-Man, he goes Oppo Taco. It's 8-6. This is looking like it's going to be a fun one until the Red Sox offense says it is not. Vasquez with the big 2-out RBI single. Rafael Devers to center. Jim, I know you like that one. It's 11-6. Make it 12. Make it 14. The Boston Red Sox put up 14 runs on 20 hits in a playoff game against the Tampa Bay Rays. Hawk, Brazier, Robles, and Barnes. Fantastic job from the Red Sox bullpen. Meanwhile, Waka, Whistler, and McHugh. Tough days from the Rays pen. 14-6 final. Sox tie it up in the trot.
Very well done.
A lot of action for a burn.
It's too much, man. Those damn Red Sox. Oh, dude, the middle of that lineup when they are right is as fun as it gets in baseball. I don't care who you are, you're not getting through.
And it's amazing the difference between game one, where they scored nothing, and game two, when they score everything. And guess who was back in the lineup?
JD.
Hey.
Yeah, it's true.
Mike Zunino said it after the game. He's like, just his presence changes the entire way I have to navigate through a lineup. And Austin Hedges on our ALDS preview show said the same exact thing. Said the same thing about JD Martinez and what he means to a ball club. And when you hear that his injury, which is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, where a guy running out to the field and he trips over second base, would have landed him on the injured list had it been the regular season. So not only is he a presence in the lineup, he gets 4 hits, including the go-ahead homer. That's sick. That's sick. That's enough to make you opt out of a contract, by the way.
Yeah. Like you said, I really want to ask Trev about this, but by the time he's back, so much more stuff has happened because Trev, I'm not trying to knock him, downplays managers. And in the regular season, maybe he's right. But in the postseason, Cora going to Hawk, instead of saying, like, well, let's get more pitches out of Sale. He's Chris Sale. We'll give him another inning, even like batter by batter. Just no. I was kind of shocked. Like, usually you'd think it'd be batter by batter, just try to give us a little bit more. Nope. Tanner's in. And then he absolutely changed that game. I know the Red Sox put up 14 runs. It doesn't happen if Tanner Hawk doesn't go 5 innings pitched, 0 earned, and completely settle the Rays and blank them, because once they got the bats going, then it was confidence driven the whole way. And Alex Verdugo had quotes saying Cora was walking up and down the dugout saying, a lot of game left. Don't even worry about it. It's only the 3rd inning. A lot of game left. Don't even worry about it. And they gave a lot of credit to Cora for doing that.
He has managed 3 game 5s or elimination games, in my opinion. The way he's managed 3 elimination games in the last 5 days. Sunday at Washington, Tuesday against you guys in the wild card, and yesterday, even though it was only game 2 of the series, he knew he could not go down 0-2 back to Fenway. And so he was like, screw it. Chris Sale, you're our guy. You've had, whatever it is, 6 top 5 Cy Young finishes, but today you're not our guy. We got to go somewhere else. And I love it. I love I know this is hard for Yankee fans to hear it, particularly because you guys always are throwing darts at your manager. But damn, that guy is a difference maker. He is a huge difference maker.
Jake and I have gotten to a weird point where we have been saying all season, there's a whole video of me saying I'm jealous of the Red Sox. It still stands. I appreciate the way they go about baseball a lot. Obviously, fuck the Red Sox and all that. I'm a Yankee fan, but like they're middle of the order, and the way Cora has them so giddy with confidence and cocky, and is I'm jealous of it. I have been I think I first said this in May. A lot of Yankee fans hate when I say it, but it's true.
Their personalities too, Jim. I mean, again, we're not bringing up the Yankees, but they live a PR life of not showing their personalities and kind of being the Yankees and business-like. Kike, people were tagging me in his old engagement photo shoot the other day. Like, pump that into my veins. Devers is as fun as you'll see on a field. Verdugo, pretty good Chris Rose rotation episode as well, and his catch and the way he plays, and they're rocking the baby. Yeah, man, it's when they have fun, they have fun. And to the Cora point, and you mentioned Craig Counsell too, there's too much in baseball in a regular season, and you do understand why, because it's 6 months, it's a grind. But there's so many managers that are more worried about the next day than today. And we see some of that even in the postseason. We're going to see that in upcoming series. And some of it will end up working out. We'll be talking about in the CS how, either someone 8 pitches. We could be talking about Pavetta's outing yesterday. We already did. Pavetta threw 70-something pitches, and that saves Houck, and that saves the other parts of the Red Sox bullpen. There's a ripple effect in baseball. I get it. Chris Sale throwing 30 pitches, part of that ripple effect is when he's ready to pitch next, Cora's going to use him, whether that's starting, whether that's out of the bullpen. And there's not a lot of managers that almost have that power over the players. And maybe power's the wrong term, but even the confidence to do something like that, to A, be able to pull Sale in that moment, and to B, go back to him in, I don't know, he threw 30 pitches. If they need a couple outs against maybe a lefty in the next game, I wouldn't rule Sale out. Like, that's how the Red Sox operate. That's how Cora went through all of 2018. Let's get through it now. Let's get the win. We'll figure it out the next day. And I think a couple more managers could use that.
If we're having a managerial fantasy draft right now, where does he go?
Cora?
Mm-hmm.
Close to one. I could see if we're going full fantasy football on this, you'd say Francona. He's still got a lot of points that guys just love him and stuff.
Active man, yeah. It's active, then probably top 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
because he might be a yes man. He might be a yes man for the analytics. I don't know, but he doesn't present himself that way. And I don't think the players. I think the biggest thing is the players have to be like, nah, Cora probably told those guys to fuck off, and he's doing it his way, but it's actually their way. I think that's a big aspect of being a manager right now. Where with Boone and some other guys, maybe are like, nah, he's just doing what the analytics guys told him to do, and even if it's the same thing, I think Cora is very good at presenting it like, fuck them, let's go.
Our guy.
I've given you an off-season idea for the show for Talking Baseball.
I do like that.
Have a fantasy draft. And by the way, the first question Trev's going to ask is, was it based on looks? No, it's based on.
He's got Kapler
who
high.
you want in there.
Right. Gabe Kapler's
right.
a first rounder.
Mike Matheny's off the board, guys.
Matheny.
Oh,
jeez.
By the way, have you ever shaken hands with Mike Matheny?
Have not.
Have not yet.
Okay. It's an experience. It's very much like when you shake hands with Adrian Peterson. That story's been told forever. The first time I met him when he came on Best Damn, we were all like, this guy shakes. I think he was about to be drafted. Everybody's like, we hear that he shakes hands really hard. I was like, oh my God, get off of me, please.
Actually that bad? He's squeezing he's trying to hurt you.
Now, but he was very kind and all of that, and smiley and gentlemanly with that, and it was like the Vulcan death grip.
Sounds like my Uncle Dragon.
Really?
Vulcan. Hey, yeah, my Uncle Dragon from Croatia. Strong hands. Jake, you mentioned Pavetta and how he got to eat innings in the loss, and that helped the Red Sox out in Game 1. Rays aren't built for that. And this game, although it ended 14-6, it was a 2-run game going into the 7th, I believe, 8-6.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then they put 1 across, which makes it 9-6, which means Rays still were using, arms that they use. Robertson, Chagua pitched in the 9th. I think they wanted Waka to ride out the last innings, and he couldn't. So that's a big thing there to get blown out by 6 runs. Was it 8 runs in the end? You get blown out by 8 runs. You would hope that you could save some of your bullpen, but the Rays used 6 guys, and a bunch of the guys that they use in their winning efforts as well. So I don't like because they need to keep their guys rested to go deep because they rely on so many arms.
By the way, do we know if it's Patino in Game 3? It's got to be, right?
Everything said Rasmussen. I don't know if it's Rasmussen kind of opening and followed, or I don't know.
It's the Rays, so I would assume he's opening and then Patino for a full time through the order
for the balance
stuff.
So we'll see. I was very surprised, and hey, in that manager draft, Kevin Cash would go decently high. I was surprised he didn't go higher.
Wait, what'd you say, Jimmy?
He's Boone, but the players just don't care. Like that whole team is we buy into the analytics. Like they don't need a buffer. They could be managerless.
They buy into Cash.
They literally get handed a game plan and they all know it and they get prepped before the game. Like we stick to our plans here in Tampa. Like they don't care.
But I think Trev would be yelling at you a lot right now, and I think Kevin Cash embodies it with the high T style, and he empowers his guys, and he earns their respect to go out and do all of the Rays' funny business.
I agree with that, but I'm saying if you took Cora off the Red Sox, I don't think they have a winning season. I don't think they make the playoffs in the end. I don't think they stay focused when it's supposed to be a rebuild year. If you take Cash and go managerless for the Rays, I think they still win 100 games.
Wow.
No,
that's bold.
That is mean.
Bold.
And
I don't
rude.
know if I'm good.
They're the most analytically driven team in sports.
But they need someone to drive that ship, and Kevin Cash is like the perfect guy for it. I mean, the Rays roster still talent-wise and everything else they're doing is on a different level. That being said, I was about to critique him.
He's not the scout.
I was surprised they didn't go to Fairbanks or Kittredge or D-Rob when the meat of their lineup was coming up again. I know McHugh's been good for them, but he was on his second inning out there, and you're going through those dudes that I think the momentum of the game had fully changed. It was 5-2. They knocked out Sale. Then the score stayed that way, and the heart of their lineup was coming up again. I was surprised he didn't go to a Fairbanks or Kittredge or D-Rob. But, hey, maybe it wouldn't have mattered because the Sox ended up putting up 14.
Except that McHugh has been so good for them this year. He had been so good, and I understand what he was trying to do, right? He's trying to navigate through those middle innings so that you get to the back half of the game, and then they're stacked up, right? Because if not, then you're bringing in some guys probably in uncomfortable situations, even though I think we'd all agree that the Rays have the most versatile pitching staff of anybody around. Right? They probably don't get freaked out about any sort of situation or inning. I mean, he's been doing it all year. He got hammered last night. It happens.
Yeah.
Did you use my line in your burn, Jake? Did I miss it?
I did not.
Ooh, can you share?
You could share. It's a podcast.
We're selling Colin McBlewett shirts.
Oh, BBD didn't like that. I got a big grunt out of the home plate.
Colin's wife mentioned to Jimmy on Twitter that he thinks Jimmy has a micro penis.
Well, the only reason she knows is because she's seen one to compare it to. So me and him both.
Guys.
I wasn't the anonymous source.
Very, very uncomfortable.
Very, very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I might have to call my therapist after we're done, actually.
All right. BBD's here.
Well, Trev's still asleep. Both made the same joke, different people, Jay. Let's go to the next game. It was the last one of the day. It was the most highly anticipated one.
I thought we were done after micro penis, but I guess not.
Oh, that's where it starts, and that's where it starts for me with Dugout Mugs. You guys know Dugout Mugs by this point. They've been part of Rose Rotation. They've been part of Talkin Baseball. They've been a part of everything. Oh, Rosie has the Rose Rotation mug. Man,
wow,
their logos on the mug look so cool. I think that's an important part of this. You don't get one and you're like, I don't know, that looks like a kind of a janky Toronto Blue Jays logo. You're like, no, that's badass. Dugout mugs. I mean, I don't even know how they do it. Lasers, I guess. Dugout mugs. Code Talkin. They're giving you 30% off. Oh, they're giving away the free knob shot.
Yes.
Oh, my God. The free knob shot, dugoutmugs.com/talkin. You just pay the shipping and handling, $8.95. Chris Rose is now drinking out of it. The shape of the knob shot could be compared. Never mind. Dugout Mugs is the best. Go check them out. They love what we're doing. They're a baseball company. We're a baseball company. Dugoutmugs.com/talkin. Perfect holiday gift. It's almost that time. Wow. Wow. All right,
It's my
Bruce.
parents' anniversary coming up.
It's
Good
so
gift for
weird.
them.
It really is so weird.
Wow.
Whoa.
Why does
That's what they sent. Sent a Jimmy knob shot.
your knob shot just has the word Jimmy written on it?
You just doodling my name?
I think it was a micro knob shot.
I think
It was. And the I don't know. The return address said McHugh on it. It was very weird that they sent this.
there's a buzz in the Bronx.
Ready for the final burn?
Yeah, two best teams ever.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Jimmy, while that happens, if you want to give a robo reset,
Mm.
just
okay.
preemptive. Jake,
Yep.
on your mark, get set, burn.
The NL's best in the NL West, Walker Buehler, who never seems to have a day off in the postseason, as young Logan tries to cast his web across a Giants victory. Bottom one, ring around the posy. 3-0, opposite field, into the drink. Buster Posey, let's go! San Francisco Giants are on the board, 2-0. It would stay that way into the seventh. Man, Logan Webb and Walker Buehler were putting on a display until KB, Chris Bryant, epitomizes San Fran with Gabe Kapler. It is 3-0 Giants. Make it 4. Brandon Crawford. Oh my God, it's Nostalgia City in the Bay. They're up 4-0. By the way, Logan Webb, 7.2 shutty, 10 Ks. Gabe takes the ball out of his hand with 92 pitches to Rogers. Gets him 2 pitches ground out to Doval. Oh my God, gross out of the bullpen. Giants shut out the mighty Dodgers. Buehler, Gratterall, Vesia gets hit. Bickford. Giants take game 1, 4-0. Woo! Bit of a message sent in this one, boys.
Did you hear Robert's quote about the hitting approach after the game?
So
He said
What, we didn't
he
have
said
one?
something like, we didn't change, the guys didn't change their approach at all. They just used the same club all game long, the driver. Something like that. And a lot of Dodgers fans in replies were like, well, why didn't you pinch hit some guys that swing for contact or have different approaches? They didn't pinch hit anyone, I don't think.
They did. They pinch hit.
just
For
for
the
the
pitcher?
pitcher, Lux, yeah.
Pitch.
Yeah, just for the pitcher. They were saying, get some other guys in there. But let's talk about Logan Webb first and foremost. If we start anywhere here. He, all the way back, I remember when we did a full episode, Jake, on like people that impressed in spring training that might have like changed their journey. They were like in a battle, like spring training battles or whatever. And I just remember noting that Logan Webb had like the best spring training of any pitcher. I think he had 5 games started and a 0.5 ERA, which just lights out. And the Giants didn't know what their plan was. And then he had an absolutely amazing season. I think there's one bad like outing, a 3 ERA or something like that. And then in his first playoff start, the line matches like 7.2 or whatever it was, 0 earned runs. There's only 2 other Giants pitchers to do it in their first playoff start, and it's Lincecum and Bumgarner, some stat like that. Just like an amazing playoff debut.
Yep, that's what it was. It was the 7 2/3 scoreless 10 Ks, and this time he did it with 0 walks. The thing that was most impressive is that this guy is a sinker slider guy, and he dominated with his third best pitch. Change up, he threw it 38 times. I think he got 13 or 14 swings and misses, and just had like. I know that Bellinger's had a terrible year. He was a little bit better over the last week, but he should have walked up there with a 4-iron because he would have had as much chance of making contact against him. He was just baffled. I thought that was fantastic for the Giants and their fans who probably watched Wednesday's wild card game and went, oh, shit. Okay, yeah, it's great we get to play the Dodgers, but, man, we got to play the Dodgers. And for them to blank them in game 1 and turn back the clock. I mean, like, Crawford hadn't hit a playoff homer in 7 years. Posey hadn't hit one in 9. You know, like, I can only imagine what a ride this is for the Giants fans.
There's stuff that will never be able to be quantified fully. And Buster Posey hitting a 3-0 Walker Buehler pitch into the drink in the first inning after this whole miracle regular season and the big bad wolf is still in your place, that means more than the 2 runs it put on the board. Logan Webb, incredible. He throws from that gross arm slot. I mean, I had one of those weird, like, man, I wish I could watch more West Coast baseball because watching him for a night was awesome. And, like, if Logan Webb was on the Braves or Red Sox, Yankees, Phillies, I feel like I'd have seen more of them. And, hey, I guess he doesn't look like this every night, but he was awesome. And Jimmy, tying it into the Dave Roberts quote, he threw so much off-speed stuff. And the Dodgers, that's where it comes from. They were just waiting for that fastball, and it never came. It is so many changeups, so many sliders. And Rosie, I'll give you a little pat on the back. Actually, it's not you. Stephen Brault, when you guys were breaking down the NL, I loved what he said about Chris Bryant, and this ties into not being able to watch guys day in, day out if they're not on your team. He said Chris Bryant, with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, is like the last guy he'd want to see at the plate. And, man, that means something. And when you tie that in with who this Giants team is, man, Tommy La Stella, batting leadoff, he has 2 hits and a walk. The Giants' energy has now fully transferred to the postseason, and as much as that Posey 3-0 homer spoke, I genuinely think Gabe going out there to booze initially, taking out Logan Webb, to go to Rogers, who, hey, he's awesome. He's disgusting. I told Jess, I was like, Jess, I know you're not watching the game. Just watch how this guy throws. And she laughed out loud, and then she goes, that's not how you do it. And I said, yeah, that's kind of the point. To go to him in that spot, that's impactful. Because, you know, if he gives up a bloop and a blast there, that changes the whole tone of this series. And what Doval does, oh, my God, he just slings it. Man, like, I was getting this whole year, we've wondered what the Giants were, and then we're buying in, we're not buying in. Here's the Dodgers. Almost like, was it the 0-2 Angels that had K-Rod? Was he a rookie that year? I got a little bit of that with Doval, man. Like, he feels special. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And the Dodgers, by the way, little bit of a Yankees effect. The Dodgers haven't really hit this year. They have the names. The hitting hasn't been what those names would tell you it is.
Yeah. The Logan Webb, trivia question, not even Logan Webb, all the San Francisco Giants pitchers. So the Dodgers had 32 plate appearances, also 32 at-bats because they didn't have a single walk. How many of those 32 do you think had 3 balls in them, ever got to a 3-ball count?
I'm going to say 1.
3.
Guess, Jake?
3.
1. And Logan Webb had 0 of them. How crazy is that?
Yep.
That just throwing Zokes and Dodgers attacking him. He only threw 5 fastballs or 4-seam fastballs, but that's normal. Like, that's what he throws. It was just sinker, changeup. I mean, his changeup was his most used pitch in a landslide. So kind of like we got to rename the changeup if that keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just like, I don't know.
It's going to make today's game a ton of fun. I can tell you that, man. With Gossman and Urias, it looks like Gossman got, he had a few rocky outings right after making the All-Star team in his hometown of Denver. Seems to have gotten it straightened out. But in addition, I don't know if you listened to the entire Steven Brault episode, Jake, but he said, I wouldn't be shocked if Julio Urias throws a complete
Yes.
game in game 2. I was like, so wait a second, are you calling it? He goes, I'm not calling it. But he said, don't be surprised. So he kind of got out on the limb, then he went back in because it was too cold on the limb. But he believes in that guy's ability that much. And who knows, he might have to throw a complete game in order to, because the Dodgers just aren't stringing together a ton of hits. They aren't. And A.J. Pollock had an amazing year, right? Amazing year. Is he ever going to do anything in the playoffs?
Ooh.
Ever?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Rosie.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, you can't count on Bellinger right now.
Do you think he
So if you're
dyes
gonna
his
put
beard?
Bellinger out there.
Do you think he dyes his beard?
Oh, God. After shaving his head?
Pollock?
Oh, Pollock. I thought you were talking about
No.
Bellinger. Okay. Oh.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It looks to me like he's got some brown just for men in his beard. Pollock, but I don't know. So I needed your help on that.
Well,
A lot of Dodgers
haven't been
fans
that
are
close.
crying that Webb got like a ton of calls off the plate,
stop.
but I'm
Come
trying to
on.
find it right now. And according to like Baseball Savant, he didn't.
I mean,
So I don't know what the.
How would you know? He didn't even get. All right, whatever. I hate it when people complain strictly about the umpiring.
Well, I think they just didn't play Little League. It's like the first thing.
know who would have gotten
You can't blame a whole game on the strike zone. At some point, you got to figure it out.
know who would have
Max Muncy.
Yeah, I was just about to say who would have gotten a 3-ball count last night. Max Muncy. So underrated. So underrated, and he's out, man.
Yep, it stinks. It stinks that he and Belt are out. It really
Yeah.
does. But I think this is going to be a great game. Have you guys even been to that park before?
I have
Have you
not.
gone to a game there?
Jim, I think you
Jimmy?
have, right? No?
Oh, in San Francisco?
Oh,
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have. I've been there in San Francisco. Yeah,
okay.
it's cold.
It's great. And in playoff times, it is so rowdy. It really is. The biggest credit I can give to San Francisco fans is I felt like I was in New York, Boston, or Philly during those playoff games in 2010 and 12. When I was doing the Fox broadcast in the playoffs, our set was set up in left center field, right next to the big glove and the Coke bottle. Holy smokes, did I get a contact high? It was unreal. I was like, holy shit, how am I going to go on air like this? The teleprompter was jumping around on me. It was fuzzy.
Chris,
But it was
if
fun.
you put it to your lips, that's not a contact high. That just means you got high.
Did I lose you? What
Oh
happened?
no.
Are you not talking anymore?
Oh no, we might have lost Rose.
Oh, man.
Oh no. Well,
What happened? I lost you, weirdo.
Jim, the one thing I want to say to you, and we'll see.
You might have to throw the big thing up.
Put the thing up. We'll see if Rosie gets back.
I can't hear you anymore.
It was kind of not a theme of the
Bizarre.
day yesterday, but I felt it the most in this Dodgers-Giants game. The defense, man, and I'm going to say the Y word, and people don't like it. You know, we watch 162 Yankees games, and, you know, we question some of their defense. It was all over the field in this game. Wilmer Flores playing first base for Brandon Belt was making nice plays. Justin Turner, he made a throw to second on one of the weirder baseball swings you'll ever see. And then that double play up the middle that went viral, La Stella and Crawford. Like, it was eye-opening from a Yankee fan perspective, and it was impressive where the rest of the league is at and probably where the Yanks need to get to.
Defense matters.
Defense matters so much.
How about Kiermaier?
Yeah,
What a son of a bitch.
that's
guy
my
is.
guy, man. That's my
Just
guy.
goes and gets it.
That's all he knows. That's all he knows.
When's he a free agent? When the Rockies go get Kiermaier? His offense will get boosted by juiced balls, and they need outfield defense.
Done. Kevin Kiermaier to the Rockies this offseason.
I think we did this on the stream the other night. He has all of next year, so it's the year the Rays trade him. And there's like a team option for the next year if they want it, but the Rays, I don't think, pick up $13 million options. So,
No, they do not.
I
have Rosie. Is he back?
Ring around the
You
rose.
just can't hear us?
It's the dream. He hates Wirecast. It's fantastic.
We'll get off it one day.
There are 2 games tonight. We mentioned them a little bit. Brewers are hosting the Braves. Woodruff Freed, Gossman, Urias. Are you, if you could only watch one, Jim, which one would you watch?
What time are they at?
Time doesn't count. It's more of a baseball study.
Dodgers, Giants.
Okay. That probably makes sense, right?
Sorry, boys.
Yeah. You're all
We're
good.
sorry.
My wireless earbud took a dump.
Oh, man.
I know, and everybody in the chat's gonna go Boomer.
Is it a
Boomer!"
9 o'clock start for the Dodgers, Giants tonight?
It is.
Yeah,
Got to readjust my
9:07.
life.
Yeah. It's tough. The first round's tough. I get it.
No, I think
It's one of the great
we were
things.
looking at the schedule. I think there's a lot of 9 o'clocks in the CS and stuff too. So I just got to, well, whatever. Baby's coming soon anyway. I won't be
Yeah.
sleeping anyway.
Yeah, sleep's over.
Were you able to stay awake last night, Jake?
Yeah. I was pretty much, my body turned off during Ray's Boston. Jess threw me, her parents are kind of in town. Their parents are in town. And we were supposed to be streaming, so I wasn't able to go to dinner initially, and then we didn't stream, so it was kind of open, and I pretty much gave it's, Coach, I don't have any more bullets in me. So my eyes were open, but I was asleep during the Red Sox-Tampa game. And then, the detail we missed about San Fran and the Dodgers, wasn't it like a 2-hour, 40-minute game? That helped big time.
I fell asleep before first pitch, and then I watched it all this morning.
You'll be good
Not at all. I
tonight.
watched
You're going to be really good tonight. You'll be up and awake for football early in the day. Then we got some baseball. It'll be
The DS schedule is crazy. We did 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. like 6 days in a row.
Yeah, that's tough.
Rose, the only
My body shut down.
the only playoff talk you missed while you were gone for a second there was, what team is Kevin Kiermaier on next year?
Whichever one has the most mirrors in the clubhouse.
Ooh,
Don't know.
Trevor Plouffe effect.
I said the Rockies should pick him up. They won't. Not next year, but
Oh, that'd be a good one. Cover a lot of ground out there. Holy
and
smokes.
his offense gets boosted a bit at home.
that he's gonna be gassed by May chasing the balls down in the alleys out there. He's gonna be like, Jesus Christ, give me that freaking roof back. Holy
Kevin
smokes.
Kiermaier goes up to Cash or whoever the defensive run prevention specialist is, and every inning he says, "What do you think about going 5 infielders this time?" I love when you guys go 5 infielders. Go 6.
Yeah. And then the other side, when they play 4 outfielders, he's like, that's it.
Oh, he hates
I'm out.
it.
I am out.
Might as well sit down. I don't get the run.
Right. I'm gonna go on the other side of the fence. I'm going to the freaking Ray tank. Go take a swim.
That's going to be next. They'll have 4 outfielders, and he'll actually go to the third base shortstop spot because that's the most room. We got it now.
No, they're gonna do 5 outfielders, and there's gonna be left field, right field, and then everyone's gonna be in, and he just gets like warning track.
Oh,
I like that.
outside. Okay.
Yeah,
So he's kind of like the
Is-
Flash. He can only run on
Yeah.
the warning track.
yeah. He'll just be posted up on the wall, leaning there, and then he'll just run left or right down the track and just rob home runs, and that'll be his defense.
Isn't the bigger question whether or not they take the Rays tank to Montreal with them, or do they leave them behind after the 41 home games? What do they do about that? Can they get those things across the border?
Bronxy the Turtle couldn't make it. I don't feel good about the Rays making it.
Yeah. Well, but that was more of a, well, we don't want to give you any good mojo sort of thing. We're supposed to be like a partnership. God, is that the most bizarre thing ever?
I don't think that they shouldn't be allowed to have the Rays tank after they changed their name after the Sun. You know, they're not the Devil Rays anymore. They're the Rays. Their logo is a sun. Sunshine. So,
Jimmy, that's pretty mean to the Rays. They have feelings too.
they kill
Devil Rays.
people, so I'm out. I don't like murderers nor animals that kill humans.
You were a big Steve Irwin guy.
Oh.
Oh my God, there's a video of Steve Irwin's kids on like Conan, and it just makes me cry my eyes out.
I know.
It's so
Nice
sweet,
man.
living out their
He's
dad's dream.
It takes me back to he used to come on Best Damn all the time, and just a lovely human being, like really, really sweet. He and his wife were wonderful. So they bring all these different animals on, and Serena Williams was guest hosting one day, and they bring out a huge snake, an enormous snake, and I am terrified of snakes. I was like, I'm out. So I go to the back of the set near our little bar area, and Serena did not like snakes either. So she is cowering behind Chris Rose. She's like holding onto my shoulders. I was like, this is one of the 3 greatest moments of my life. Thank you, Steve Irwin, for making this happen. She's like holding on to me. She's like,
But
Chris,
secret, you were like, I'd like
me.
to
I'm
be
like-
hiding behind you. Can you
Exactly.
protect me?
I was like, when are we going to switch here?
All
Oh, man.
right. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the 2 games that get played tonight. Thank you, Rosie, for stepping up and joining
Hey.
us today.
I appreciate it.
Enjoy your
It's always my
Saturdays. Go watch some baseball. Take some naps if you have time.
Oh,
There we go.
remix.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, boys, got to run. Thank you.
Hey, Rosie.
Sorry about the technical